Okay, so this morning I sat down, I did my journaling, I did my meditation. I was feeling really, really great. I was thinking about this masterclass I have coming up called Break Your Limiting Beliefs to Break Through in Business. And I was super focused on this. I felt super excited. I was thinking about limiting beliefs and I went on a spree, like writing all these posts, writing content as I usually do. Okay, I sit down, what kind of content do I write? And I just burst out crying as I was writing this content because it was so freaking powerful. I began writing and I was like, okay, why is it so important to unlock your power? Why do I feel so strongly that people stop playing small for themselves? Why do I care? And as I was writing, I was reflecting on why it's important to me. And I started writing about one of the limiting beliefs that I used to have, which was you had to go to college and get a really great education so you could get a really great job and stay there forever. I had a really strong belief that money only came through corporate jobs. And if I wanted to be successful, I needed to get a good steady job and climb the corporate ladder. That was what was taught to me. I never felt in my heart that this was what was meant for me. Even when I was a kid, I remember I was in high school or college and I was like, ooh, like I don't really want to get a job, Dad. Like, what if I don't want a job? And my dad's like, oh, it'll feel different like when you're being paid. And I'm like, okay. And then I got a job, I was being paid, and I wasn't happy. And so I really had to work on my limiting belief that maybe money can come through something that's not a corporate job. Maybe money can come through something that isn't just sitting at this cubicle all day. And as I began writing about my limiting beliefs, I wrote about why was education so important to me? As I break down these limiting beliefs, I got to reflect on what my beliefs are. And so I was like, okay, why is education, why did I have that belief that education is the way to success? And I'm like, well, let's look at what my parents taught me. My mom is Chinese, so we all know that stereotype, of course, like get straight A's. She wasn't really like that. She wasn't really a tiger parent, but I think it was really ingrained that you are expected to get straight A's. And my grandfather, her father, was really, really strong in education. He did not get to go to college. He did not get the education he wanted. He came here from China and he knew that the way out for his children to be successful, he was an immigrant from China. And so he had that first generation mentality of like, okay, you guys have to do really well in school to get a good job and be successful in this country. That's what he taught my mom and her siblings. So it was really ingrained in my mom and her siblings, and they all were successful. My mom went to University of Maryland and graduated in computer science and got a high-paying job after that. She worked for KPMG. And so that was ingrained on her side. So those beliefs came onto me. My dad had the same vision. He grew up poor. He grew up in Baltimore. Their family grew up without that much money, and everyone around him, he had kind of the opposite environment, but same idea. And so he grew up really poor, and everyone around him had like blue collar jobs, and nothing wrong with that. But his family didn't have enough money to turn on the heat sometimes. His family couldn't afford literally to do things like lift, like have heat on, definitely not have air conditioning on. So my dad saw everyone around him doing the same stuff, having these same jobs. And my dad's like, I don't want this life for myself when I'm older. I don't want to not be able to turn on the heat. I want to be able to provide for my family. How do I do that? I can't live like this. What's another option for me? So he knew that if he studied hard and went to college, he's like, well, if I get a college degree, then I could get a good job and then I could pay for stuff. So he worked really hard. He got a full scholarship to University of Maryland, and he also majored in computer science. So both my parents were computer scientists. They both worked at the same company, and then they both met there, and then they had me. And so I feel, and I was writing about their stories, and where it really became powerful for me where it really became powerful for me was when I thought of, my mom's grandparents. They immigrated from China, but both sets, like my grandmother and grandfather's parents, when they came from China, I have no idea what was going on in their lives or at the time or where they lived, but I do know that they had to leave children behind. I don't know, like, my grandfather's, like, siblings. I don't know all of them. I have no idea what their family is like because both sets of parents had to make the decision to leave children behind in China, and clearly the situation was, like, really so bad that they felt like they had to illegally, well, my grandfather's side illegally had to come to this country to escape what was going on, and they had to choose. They had the opportunity to bring some children, but not all of them. Imagine being a parent and making that decision. The other thing that really was so powerful to me this morning was, raising us. My mom worked so hard for her career. She knew education was the way forward. She knew she needed a good corporate job, and she got one. But after she had kids, I have 2 younger brothers. She and my dad made the decision that she would quit her job and stay home with us. And so her only focus, the way I remember her and knew her, her only focus was to sacrifice everything to take care of us. Her only focus was to take care of us. She sacrificed her entire life for me to be her priority. And on the flip side, my dad sacrificed everything, which he gave his whole life to work. I know that he took more safe jobs. Like, he got a job in the government, which, like, is probably super boring. No offense, but if you work there and you love it, your job might be great, but I don't think his jobs were very, like, interesting always. But he chose it for the security, because the government's benefits and their security, and he gave his whole career and his whole life just to go to work every day. We did not live close to DC. We lived, like, probably with traffic, like, over an hour, and he commuted that every single day just for a safe, boring job, just to provide for our family. So he sacrificed every day just for me. And, like, all of my ancestors, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and beyond that, all made so many sacrifices for their children. They all had to make really, really hard decisions. All of them putting me first, not literally me, but kind of literally me, and just their children and the future. And they did all of these super, super hard things and gave up themselves just so I could succeed. So I had a foundation to stand on. And, like, my great-grandparents literally left children in the bad situation in China. My dad grew up without heat, and both my parents worked really, really hard, especially in their adult life after I was born. I mean, their whole life, but also in their adult life after I was born, to make sure that I could grow. So who am I to use this life? I feel like I'm standing on the shoulder of giants. I feel like I have all this power of all my ancestors behind me, and for me to just sit in a cubicle and settle because I'm scared? That's not fair. It's different. Like, my dad sacrificed everything to provide for his children, and he made that decision for his office job, but I don't have any children. So for me, if I chose to remain in my office job where my boss blatantly disrespected me and would mock me behind my back, my other boss told the higher-ups that I do nothing at work, which was not true. All of these things happen at work, so I just sit in a cubicle and stare at the wall and work on projects that don't mean anything, where, it doesn't mean anything to me just because I'm scared of not getting a steady paycheck, just because on the inside, I know that I have all these talents and passions and want to make an impact, and I know that if I just told everyone what I knew and taught them and coached them, like, everyone's lives would change, and I could help raise the consciousness of this planet, and I could make other people happy. And I would just hold that inside because I'm scared that I won't get a 401k match? Really? You cannot play scared for yourself. I have all my ancestors fighting for me. I have all these sacrifices they gave to me. I can't not use it for my highest impact because I'm scared. Because I have a belief that, oh no, I need a corporate job. No, I don't. I can create a corporate job. A corporate job is just a company that created jobs for people. I can create that company that's more meaningful, that's more impactful, that's designed exactly the way I want it to be designed, so the people I work there are respected and loved and cared for, and the people that we serve are respected and loved and cared for. We don't have to buy into the system anymore with these giant corporations taking advantage and exploiting people just because we're scared. They know we're scared, and that's why they're able to do it. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. Imagine if we all got over our fears, got over our limiting beliefs, and lived up to our true power. Imagine if we all did the exact thing fearlessly that we know in our hearts we're meant to do. And you might not know exactly what you're meant to do. Some people have a passion that they know that they're born with. I was meant to do this. A lot of the Olympic athletes probably started their sport when they were 3 years old and they just knew that was their path forever. And then there's other people who don't really know their passion, but they know it's not this. They know that what they're doing now cannot possibly be their purpose because they don't feel fulfilled. You're doing your purpose when you feel fulfilled, and these people sitting at their desks do not feel that way. Okay, so if you're sitting in your corporate job knowing it's not this, but knowing it could be something else, that's your job to discover. I know you have the beliefs oh, but my parents want me to go to college. Oh, but my parents want me to have a corporate job. I know you want to please your parents. I know you want to please your boss and your husband or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your wife or your sister or your cousin or your aunt or your grandparents, whoever you want to impress, but you know how they'll be more impressed? If you become Jeff Bezos. I mean, he has his issues, but I meant sort of if you started a revolutionary giant company kind of thing. Or if you became Sarah Blakely, who invented Spanx. If you became, a person who owned corporations and did so much work for good. And yes, they might be upset for a while if you are jobless in their eyes as you're building your business. Yes, they might be upset for a while if they find out you use your student loans to invest in a coach to help you grow your business. Yes, they might be upset today or tomorrow. But when they look at the results you create, if you become a billionaire because you made Spanx, yeah, they're gonna forgive you being crazy in their eyes for a while. They're gonna forgive you for that time period where you were building that success. They're gonna believe in you once you see the results, and you cannot be the one holding you back. If they don't like that, that's on them. But you cannot stop yourself before you even start. You cannot say, well, what if it doesn't work? And then just not even try. Your ancestors gave so much to you. You cannot try. That is so fucking selfish of you. If you are really gonna let your fears stop you from living your dream, that is so fucking selfish. If you have children and you're thinking, oh, well, I can't quit my job, then don't quit your job. Build it on the side. Do you know how much your children will look up to you when they see how hard you worked for them? Can you see that? Don't you think they'll have so much respect for you if they look back and they realize, wow, my mom really, really hustled her way on the side. And at the time, yeah, we didn't get to play as much, but now looking back, this is amazing. Did you see Selling Sunset? Remember when Amanza was feeling really sad because she felt like she worked all the time because she was the real estate agent, and she was oh my god, my kids must be so sad. But then they told her no, mom, we know you're working really hard, we love you. And it was really cute and heartfelt, and it's that's what your kids will see in you. There's so many people, maybe you guys had hardworking parents growing up, and maybe you look back and go, your memory, yeah, you didn't get to play as many board games together, but your memory of them is they loved you and they worked hard for you. You cannot let fear. Your ancestors worked too hard for you to give up now. Your ancestors worked too hard and sacrificed too much for you to settle at a job you don't want and you're being disrespected at. You need to step into your power. It is not an option. It is so selfish of you and so limiting for you to stop yourself before you even try. So I wasn't just crying when I was journaling. It's all right now, but it's so powerful. This is such a powerful message, and I cannot let you play small. It just drives me so crazy when I see people stop themselves before they even start. So my message to you, was that there the whole time? Sorry. My message to you is feel the power, feel your power. So many humans sacrificed for you to be here today, not for you to settle, but for you to expand, for you to grow, for you to be in your power, and for you to help other humans so we can all grow together.